As the golden light of autumn pours through the windows, it's the perfect time to embrace the charm of rustic romance. Today we'll journey through cozy spaces, vintage treasures, and nature-inspired accents that bring warmth and nostalgia into our homes. Our theme combines the heart of cottagecore, soft, nature-loving, and whimsical, with the earthy, timeless touch of rustic fall decor. From thrift store gems to handmade touches, this style celebrates slowing down, savoring the season, and surrounding ourselves with pieces that feel like a warm hug. Cottagecore celebrates a simpler life, one where hand-picked flowers, handmade quilts, and well-loved antiques take center stage. In autumn, this style deepens in richness with warm earth tones, dried foliage, and soft candlelight. It's about creating spaces that feel lived in, yet special, where every object tells a story. The rustic side brings in raw wood textures, weathered finishes, and farm-inspired accents, while the romantic side adds lace, soft florals, and gentle lighting. Together, they create a space that feels both nostalgic and inspiring. One of the most magical things about rustic romance decor is that it thrives on thrifted treasures. Fall is the perfect season to wander through flea markets, thrift shops, and antique stores, where forgotten items await a new chapter. Old baskets, tarnished silver trays, mismatched china, and vintage picture frames bring instant history to your space. These pieces are not only affordable but also sustainable, giving us the joy of reusing and repurposing. Every thrift find adds soul to your home, making it uniquely yours. The foundation of rustic romance in fall begins with color. Think rich shades of burnt orange, deep mustard, warm taupe, creamy ivory, and hints of forest green. Layering these tones creates a visual warmth that's both inviting and timeless. For a softer cottagecore feel, you can incorporate faded rose, dusty lavender, or muted peach to soften the palette. The magic is in the balance: deep earthy hues for structure and soft romantic shades for lightness. Together, they evoke the colors of falling leaves and cozy sunsets. Nature is the heart of both rustic and cottagecore styles, and autumn is nature's grand finale. Bring the outdoors in by decorating with dried leaves, wheat stalks, pine cones, and seasonal branches. A bundle of cinnamon sticks tied with twine not only looks charming but also fills the air with a warm scent. Place pumpkins, both real and fabric, in soft, muted tones around your home. Incorporating nature-inspired decor grounds your space, reminding you of the beauty just outside your door. Rustic Romance thrives on texture, and nothing embodies that more than weathered wood. Whether it's an old farmhouse table, a vintage wooden crate, or reclaimed shelving, these pieces bring a sense of history and authenticity. Fall is the perfect time to showcase wooden breadboards on your kitchen counter or use vintage ladders as blanket racks. Don't be afraid of imperfections. Scratches, faded paint, and rough edges tell stories. In fact, they're what make these items stand out as true rustic treasures. A key to achieving rustic romance is layering soft, vintage-inspired textiles. Think crocheted throws, floral quilts, faded Persian rugs, and linen table runners. In autumn, textiles should feel both cozy and nostalgic. Drape a patchwork quilt over the back of your sofa, layer lace curtains over heavier drapes, or use a hand-woven blanket as a tablecloth for a seasonal twist. These fabrics not only add warmth but also invite touch, making your home a place where guests instantly feel at ease. Lighting sets the mood in any space, but in fall, it's essential for creating that romantic, rustic glow. Opt for warm, amber-toned bulbs in lamps and sconces. Scatter candles in vintage brass holders across your tables and shelves. String fairy lights along wooden beams or around window frames for a whimsical touch. Lanterns, especially thrifted ones, bring a soft old-world charm when filled with LED candles or tiny pumpkins. The goal is to create lighting that feels like golden hour all evening long. Nothing says rustic romance like a thoughtfully styled table. Begin with a soft linen or lace tablecloth, then layer wooden chargers, mismatched china, and vintage silverware. Add glass goblets in amber or green for a pop of color. For the centerpiece, arrange seasonal flowers, dried seed pods, and a scattering of tiny pumpkins. Mixing thrift store finds with natural elements creates a table that feels rich with character, perfect for a cozy fall dinner or an afternoon tea by candlelight. Bare walls are an opportunity to showcase thrifted treasures. Search for ornate frames, even if the artwork inside isn't your style. You can swap it for botanical prints, vintage postcards, or pressed leaves. Mix and match frames in gold, wood, and painted finishes for an eclectic gallery wall. Seasonal artwork, like paintings of harvest scenes or autumn landscapes, brings the fall mood into your home in an effortless way. The beauty of thrifted frames is that they carry history while letting you personalize the display. Every rustic romance home needs a spot to curl up with a book. Transform a quiet corner into a cozy reading nook by adding a thrifted armchair, a pile of vintage cushions, and a knitted throw. Place a small side table with a cup of tea, a candle, and maybe a small vase of dried flowers. If you have space, a thrifted bookshelf filled with well-loved novels and decorative trinkets adds charm. The goal is to make a space that encourages slowing down and savoring the season. The kitchen is the heart of the home, and in fall, it becomes even more inviting with rustic touches. Display wooden cutting boards, enamelware, and copper pots collected from thrift stores. Fill glass jars with seasonal spices like cinnamon sticks, star anise, and cloves. Add a small arrangement of wheat or eucalyptus on your counter for a natural touch. Even something as simple as hanging vintage tea towels or placing a pie on a cooling rack can transform your kitchen into a warm, autumn haven. Forget the idea that dishes must match. In rustic romance style, mismatched dinnerware tells a richer story. Collect plates, cups, and bowls from thrift shops in floral patterns, muted pastels, and earthy tones. Mixing these pieces not only looks charming, but also adds a casual elegance to your table. You can tie the look together by sticking to a common color theme or simply letting the eclectic nature shine. In autumn, this style works beautifully for gatherings, where the imperfections feel intentional and full of heart. Books are more than reading material, they're decor. Stack vintage books on coffee tables, use them to elevate candles, or display them on open shelves. Look for worn covers, gold embossed titles, and faded spines at thrift stores. In a rustic romance setting, antique books pair beautifully with dried flowers, old photographs, and ceramic mugs. In the fall, you can even tie them with twine and tuck in a sprig of rosemary or wheat for a seasonal touch. They're small details that bring immense character. Fall decor isn't just about what we see, it's about what we smell. Cinnamon, clove, vanilla, and woodsy scents instantly make a home feel cozier. Thrifted brass pots or enamel kettles can be repurposed for stovetop potpourri, simmering with apples, orange peels, and spices. You can also fill thrifted teacups with soy wax and essential oils for homemade candles. When scent and decor blend seamlessly, your home feels more immersive, like stepping into a rustic autumn storybook. Your entryway sets the tone for your home, so give it an autumn makeover. Place a thrifted bench with plaid cushions, hang a vintage coat rack for scarves and hats, and add a wicker basket filled with blankets. A small display of pumpkins, lanterns, and dried flowers can greet guests warmly. Even if you have a small space, layering textures and seasonal details in the entryway makes every arrival feel special, like walking into a welcoming countryside cottage. Part of the magic of rustic romance is the presence of handmade or DIY touches. Knit your own throw pillows, press autumn leaves for framed art, or hand paint thrifted furniture in soft, chalky colors. These projects not only add a personal touch, but also connect you to the spirit of slow living that cottagecore embraces. Fall is a season of crafting. Whether it's a wreath made from gathered branches or a garland of dried oranges, these details make your decor feel one of a kind. In rustic romance styling, repurposing is both creative and sustainable. A thrifted teapot can become a vase for flowers, a wooden crate can be turned into a coffee table, and an old ladder can serve as a blanket display. Autumn encourages this kind of ingenuity, where practical items also become beautiful decor. By reimagining how objects can be used, you not only save money but also create a home filled with conversation starters and clever design ideas. While Rustic Romance is rooted in wood and fabric, a touch of metallic brings a hint of elegance. Look for brass candlesticks, copper mugs, or silver trays at thrift stores. In autumn, these metals pair beautifully with candlelight, amplifying the warm glow in your space. Scatter them throughout your home, mixing finishes for an eclectic look. Even a tarnished piece has charm. In fact, the patina often makes it more appealing for this style. Fresh flowers are beautiful, but in fall, dried and preserved blooms carry a different kind of beauty. Arrange dried hydrangeas, eucalyptus, and lavender in ceramic pitchers or mason jars. Add seasonal greenery like sage or rosemary for fragrance. Thrifted vases, especially in ceramic or glass, make perfect vessels for these arrangements. The muted tones and rustic textures of dried florals complement the autumn palette while lasting much longer than fresh blooms. Small seasonal vignettes are an easy way to bring rustic romance into every corner. Use a thrifted tray to group candles, small pumpkins, and a vintage clock on a side table. Arrange books, a vase of dried flowers, and a framed photo on a mantle. These small groupings add charm without overwhelming the space. In autumn, focus on rich colors, natural textures, and warm lighting to tie the look together. Your bedroom should be your sanctuary, especially in the cooler months. Swap lightweight bedding for flannel sheets, layered quilts, and knit blankets in warm tones. Add a thrifted wooden bench at the foot of the bed or hang a vintage mirror above the dresser. Soft lighting, scented candles, and seasonal flowers can transform your bedroom into a cozy autumn haven, a place to unwind and embrace the slower pace of fall. Rustic romance thrives when it's built over time. Rather than rushing to decorate for fall all at once, collect pieces gradually. This allows your home to evolve with the season, as you find thrifted treasures and incorporate natural elements from walks or trips. Decorating slowly encourages you to appreciate each addition, knowing that it carries its own story. This approach makes your home feel authentic and deeply personal. Autumn is the perfect season for hosting, and a rustic romance home is ideal for making guests feel welcome. Serve homemade soups in mismatched bowls, offer warm cider in vintage mugs, and set the table with thrifted linens. Encourage lingering conversations by candlelight, surrounded by the comforting layers of your decor. Hosting with heart is about creating an atmosphere where people feel cared for, and your rustic cottagecore space will do just that. As the final leaves fall and the days grow shorter, your home becomes a reflection of the season's beauty. Rustic romance is more than a style. It's a feeling, one of comfort, nostalgia, and connection. By blending thrift finds, natural elements, and personal touches, you've created a space that invites warmth into every moment. This autumn, may your home be a haven where every corner tells a story and every detail reminds you of the simple joys of fall.